Hello, everyone. This is Camden, the TA, and I will be just doing a quick little video on how to, first of all, connect to your GitHub repo through command line, then on how to commit, push, and just kind of do the syncing between two different computers from this. So first of all, what we want to do is we want to go to announcements, and we just want to go setting up GitHub. With this, you will want to click on this link. If you haven't accepted it yet, what will happen is there will be a quick little explanation about this is being GitHub Classroom, and then you can click on a button that's like accept, and then it will create a repo for you with this page on it. So when we do that, you can go into here and you can go to your repo. I have stuff in it already, but I will be going step by step how to do it. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to open up your Visual Studio Code, and you want to open your kind of file that you want to connect it to. So in this case, mine is CSCI 2510 Spring 2026. With this, what you want to do now is you want to, first of all, and this is assuming you are starting from scratch, so there's no folders or files in your current repo. What you want to do is you first want to get in it. And I'll show you, kind of reiterate. You want to go into terminal, new terminal, and then this is where you can get in it. This will connect your current repo with GitHub. And it'll say, hey, you can use GitHub stuff now. After you get in it, what you want to do now is you want to git add all. This will add all your files into that repo initialization folder. And with that, then your stuff should be on the green, should turn yellow from what I recall. Then we want to commit a message to show what we're committing. So you could do git commit -m and let's say adding my or initial setup. And after you do this initial setup, you can say, okay. And now when you click enter on this, it will then, it should accept and it should also be good. Then what we want to do is we want to do a git remote add origin. And we want to go over here, and if there's no files, it should be a HTTPS and then the link. But if there is files, what you want to do is you want to go to your code and you want to go to your HTTPS and you want to copy and paste this. This will establish the connection between this, your current repository or file folder that's opened, and your GitHub repo in the cloud. And then when you do this connection, what will happen is that you don't really know if it worked or not. So the way you test it is you do git remote -v, and then it'll show that it is connected if it has that kind of game-programming-code-repository-Camden, or whatever your GitHub username is. Now that you know that it is, you can do git push -u origin main. And this will then send all of the stuff that you added to your GitHub repo. From my recollection, you guys have, if you've taken CS2, you have used GitHub before, but from what I remember, it was GitHub Desktop. So this is just an alternative way of doing it. So now let's say that you have your connection and you need to adjust it. So yeah, let's say I want to change this. I want to remove this console.log. What I'll do now is I'll git add all, git commit -m, remove log message, and then I'll git push. Now if we go over here, we see that there was a commit called change on a clone repo. That was 19 minutes ago. If I reload the page, now it says remove a log message. And then So now let's say you did this on your personal computer at home, and now you go to school and you forgot your computer and you need to use your or this school one that was provided or kind of in the computer lab. There's a couple ways of doing this. If you're using Visual Studio Code, what you can do is you can click on clone git repository. If you're not, the command line to do this is, first of all, you would want to do a new terminal, and then you would git clone, and then you would get your URL. Well, I'm here. Let's actually do this just to show you and make sure. Let us delete these past ones. All right. So now let's say that git clone, and you would do your cloning of your that .git file of HTTPS. But say we don't want to do that. There's an easier way, and we can start from the very beginning. So you would open up your Visual Studio Code on the school computer, and you can click on this clone git repository. You would copy and paste your HTTPS, and then you would select a location, which could be downloads, and I would like to open it. So now it is automatically connected. So now let's say I add a console.log statement. So let's do console.log. This is a remote GitHub repo from other computer. What I would do is same thing as we did earlier of git add all, git commit -m, and let's just say adding something from another repo, and then we would git push. Now inside here, we see that it's changed. And now when you go back home, you want to pull those changes. What you would do is you would open your original repo that you did it on, or the other one, kind of depending on how you're doing it. And then what you would want to do is you first see that there's no that console.log. So what you could do is you could git pull, and now you get that. So just kind of big picture overview again. Let's even do this so that you can have a good creating the first connection between the repo and the GitHub classroom repo and your files. So first, you open up VS Code and you go to your top left and you click on New Terminal, and you first want to establish the connection. You want to git add all, commit your message, and then you want to establish the remote add origin, and that comes from that HTTPS file in your code. You want to make sure it's connected, and then you want to push your standard updating of a repo. First, it is similar to the git add, git commit -m, and then git push -u origin main. So it'd be connecting your repo from an alternative device. So every time you come in class, you have to do so because the files get deleted at the end of the day for your school computers. So if you are doing multiple devices, you'll have to get used to this. But you would open VS Code, and inside of the welcome, click clone, and inside of the welcome tab, you click on your clone GitHub repository. Copy and paste your HTTPS GitHub into the hotbar to the VS Code bar at and once you do that, you will then select a destination and open it, and this will establish your connection. And then what you could do is you could standard update, and then it would be updating changes from another computer to the one you are currently on, and that is as simple as git pull. Kind of two final things that I would really appreciate if you would do is if in your README file you kind of just explain what you're working on. So it could be like a list of things you're going to work on this week, or kind of big picture ideas. If you're struggling with anything, you could also put in here, and I'll probably check it out and see if you are struggling with it. This is just a good way to communicate with me if you are if you reach out an email and I don't respond or something like that. It's just a way for you to make statements that I can read and then kind of help you if need be, or reach out to you or stuff like that if you want that assistance like that. That should be it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, I always get there early at about 10:30ish. So you could always talk to me before class, after class, or send me an email, and we can get this thing ironed out, because this is kind of pretty valuable for this class, but also kind of getting used to GitHub is very important in the real world when developing stuff. Oh, and then commit changes for updating your README.